On to the exercises where we read in this flights data set, we insert a couple of columns over here, day of week and month, like this. All right, so this is just data on flights in the US. Number one, what is the average carrier delay for each day of the week for each airline? Highlight the worst day of the week for each airline. Okay, so we're going to do flights. I'm going to use a pivot table over here. And we want the carrier. So that is the airline over here. So let's say index equals airline for each day of the week. Let's do this. So for each day of the week, that's day of the week. So that's what we're going to group by. So every airline, every day of the week, we want to get the average carrier delay. That's this right here. So carrier delay. And the ag func, we want the mean. Okay, so here we go. Right, so here are all those values. Let's put this on multiple lines and let's round this to maybe 2 decimal places. We just go to 1 decimal place. And this is highlight the worst day of the week. So we're going to do style dot, let's go ahead and put this all in over here so we can, okay, so we're going to do dot style dot, we're going to highlight the max. That'll be the worst day of the week for each one. And this goes vertically. What we want to do is go the other direction like this. Unfortunately, it formats it with all of the decimals. That is, it should be nice if it kept it. So you have to use the format style method, and we'll just do 0.01, 0.1f. Okay, there we go. This is no longer a data frame, it's a styler object. So that's how you can get the worst day of the week for each airline. All right, number 2, use a pivot table to find the total number of canceled flights for each origin airport and airline. Let's just go ahead and do that. So flights, a dot pivot table. So for each origin airport, so there's origin and airline, we'll do this. We want the number of canceled flights. So that's going to be what we're going to aggregate. And then the ag function will just be sum this time. We're just going to sum this up. This is the total number of canceled flights. What you can do is, there's a fill value over here that you can set equal to 0. So it had missing values. That just means there were no canceled flights. You could leave it as missing, that did not appear in the result, right? There was no like Atlanta. A lot of these are just destinations that they don't go to, right? So some of these airlines don't fly there. So it may be better to have a missing value to represent that. It can be 0 if there are actually 0 canceled flights for that particular location. NaN is something different, so it's probably better to just keep it like this, although just it kind of expands the data frame a little bit and adds the point zeros. All right, so place the airlines in the columns. Okay, that's what we did. Use the result to find the origin airport with the most canceled flights for each airline. Also return the maximum number of canceled flights. Okay, so this is where now we have to use our old knowledge of pandas. So if we just call the max method, we're going to find these are the airports. Sorry, these are the carriers. To find the origin airport with the most canceled flights. So I need to go in the other direction, like this. So Atlanta, the most is 19, Boston, the most is 41, and so forth. But really, I need to find the airline as well, not just the maximum number of canceled flights. So we're going to use the ag function, and we're going to say I want the max and IDX max, and I'm going to say access equals 1, like this. That's pretty cool. So now for Atlanta Airport, the maximum number of canceled flights is 19 by DL, which I think is Delta. For Boston, it's 41, American Airlines. So pretty cool. A lot of, this is not an easy problem, this one to solve. So you have to do the pivot table, and then you have to chain this AG method from the data frame in order to get the result. All right, number 3, find the total distance flown for each airline for each month. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So we are going to use pivot table, and so I'm going to say airline over here. We can say the columns will be the month and the total distance flown. So if you look at the distance, that's what we're going to aggregate. So values equals distance. And then our aggregation function will just be sum. So there we go. This is the total distance flown. And this one I will say fill in a, not fill in a, I'm going to use the fill value over here is 0. And we'll just know that 0 means it doesn't fly there. Or may, but just have 0. So just to condense this information, I think it'll make it a little bit easier to read. All right, and then use the style format method to put commas in the numbers. Okay, so new style. We actually need to highlight the max like this, and we need to turn it the other way. So for the airline, right? So we know that, all right, August is this airline, July it is this airline, and so forth. And then it's getting a little bit too long over here. And then we will have another one right here, style.format. I'm going to put commas here so it's a little bit easier to read. All right, so there we go. So now we have commas. We can see, all right, it's 1,371,000 miles. All right, number 4, create a pivot table that shows the number of flights flown for every day of the week for every month. All right, so flights dot pivot table shows the number of flights flown for every day of the week for every month. All right, so the index, we can say a day of week. And the columns, we can say month. And then the ag func we'll say is size. Right? So this time we're just getting the number. Right, so this does it. Okay, that's how you do it. Number 5, in exercise 4, the months and days of the week are ordered alphabetically. It would be better if these values were ordered chronologically. Can you return a result that has both groups in the correct order? Okay, so what you can do here, there's a couple ways to do it. Probably the best way to do this is to use an ordered categorical variable in pandas. So what we can do is, if you remember, to create this, you say categorical D type, and then you have to pass it in the values over here. So what I'm going to do is say flights day of week dot unique. So I'm going to get these values. I'm going to pass them in. And this just so happens to be in, this is the actually order that I want. And I'm going to say ordered equals true. So this is the new D type. So I'll say day D type like this. But I also need to do one for the month. So I'm going to say month D type. And this time I want to get the month unique. Okay. The reason it's in this order, because this is the order that it appears in the data set. Pandas will order it by alphabetical order, which is typically what you want. But if you create it as a categorical, then you will get that order. So categorical D type, and I'll say ordered again equals true. And then all I have to do is I have to change the data types. So I'll say as type, and I'm going to use a dictionary over here. I'm going to say day of week. And I'm going to make it now this new data type. And then month is month D type like this. And this will be the new flights data. So I'm just going to overwrite this. All right, so nothing looks like it has changed, but if I do, flights.d types, I will see it is now categorical. And if I just copy and paste my old code, it should be in that order. So pandas will use this. It won't order it alphabetically. It'll order it by the categorical ordering that you provided it. So very cool. All right, so that makes it a lot easier to read. So January to December, and then Monday to Sunday. And all the other ones will be changed as well. So if I go back to exercise 3, now it's from January to December, so it makes it a lot easier to read as well. Yeah, and actually exercise 1 can be changed as well. Okay, so very cool. So that's another good reason to change the data type to categorical ordered if you in fact do have an ordered categorical variable. It does help with other things. Our number 6, create a new column in the flights data set called department time hour and set it equal to the hour. This is a number between 0 and 23. So let's go ahead and do this. So here's the department time. You can see it as the hour and the minute. So what we can do here, we just want the hour. We can just divide it by 100. That'll give us, if we do integer division, that'll give us the hour. So we're going to add a new thing, department time hour, like this. So now we have that column in our data set. It's going to be at the end, right? So it's over here. All right, then it says, find the average carrier delay of every month and department time hour. Okay, let's go ahead and do that. So pivot table for every month and department time hour. So it's an index equals month, columns equals department time hour. We're going to aggregate the carrier delay. And how are we going to do this? We're going to do the agfunc equal to mean. And we need definitely to round this to 1 decimal place. So there we go. There's some missing data over here. So we're missing flights from, looks like from the hour of 2, 3, and 4. There's very sparse data over here. It's a bunch of missing values. We have to change our display settings to see all of the, so we'll say set option display dot max columns. And we'll just say 100. All right. So there we go. Now we can see all of it. Number 7, use both GroupPy and pivot table to compute the average and median distance flown by day of the week. So flights.pivot table. Do that first. We're going to say day of week. And so we don't have another grouping column. So we're going to say values equals distance. And then the agfunc will be mean. So that's how you do it over here. With a group by, we're just going to substitute in where we do this and do the ag method. So mean distance equals distance. That's the aggregating column, and the aggregating function is mean. So we get the exact same order over here and exact same values. All right, those were a little bit more difficult exercises. Hopefully you enjoyed them. Take some more creative thinking to understand how to do them, but hopefully a good challenge and helps you really understand this material a lot better.